people that it was people aren't as open minded as people think they are. So it's like I said, so vacuum. I got the cops calling me so many times.
Wow. So wait a minute, while you're out on your sales calls, people see you and they don't think, oh, that's the sales guy. They think he's coming to rob.
Yeah, and we're belong to this neighborhood. And you just tell the cop, true, here's my badge. I'm just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to see this lady or this couple, and they let me in, they do. If not, we'll leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that happened 6 or 7 times. I think that you can do anything that you put your mind to. I think I'm a bit overconfident in that. I think that if you really work hard for something and you really believe that you can do it, then you can. It's going to be yours. It already is yours. You just have to speak it into existence. But you also have to work for it. Like, I just want to come to you. Nothing comes to you.
Welcome to Show Your Receipts, where we believe if you can see it, you can be it. Receipts are evidence or proof that something has occurred. Our guests are evidence that Black excellence is alive and well. They will be sharing their receipts on how they've been able to accomplish so much in their life. I'm your host, Tony Jackson. Let's get started.
All right. Welcome to Show Your Receipts, where we believe if you can see it, you can be it. Receipts are evidence or proof of something that has occurred. Today, our guest is evidence that Black excellence is alive and well. We have Keven Hagans. Keven, welcome, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Excited to have you here, man. I heard a little bit about your story, and I'm excited for people to be able to hear your story. Before we jump into it, let me give a little bit of rundown of Keven's background. Keven is born and raised in Milwaukee. He has a sales background. He sold campers, he sold vacuums, he sold cars, and exceeded it in those areas. However, he recently purchased a business that we're going to talk about here in a second. Keven is a CEO and an entrepreneur. As a car salesman, he not only was salesman of the month, but he's one of the highest grossing salespeople at the former dealership that he used to work at. He's a father, he's an entrepreneur, and we have him here. Thank you, Keven. Thank you for having me here, brother.
Bro, thank you. That introduction, now I got to live up to it.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what? This is a celebration. I mean, we want to invite you on here just to celebrate the success that you've had and just to really highlight some of the key things that you've been able to do to get to where you're at. And let's just jump right into it. You started off in car sales and now you ventured over into the entrepreneurship realm. Tell me a little bit about that jump and what's going on with you right now.
I sold cars at Riverside for 7 years, 8 years. And around 2019, before COVID happened, I got the bug of I wanted to do something for myself and for my family. My grandfather actually had a family meeting and said that leaving his name won't do anything, but leaving money and wealth, generational wealth, he has enough to leave for a couple of generations. And so I got with my sister, my cousin, and I said, we need to figure out a way to continue that generational wealth. So when he's gone, my grandparents are gone, we're still living on with his legacy and everything that he tried to do for us. We went to a trampoline park and had a lot of fun. It was actually like my kids, all of the grandkids and the great grandkids. So we were all together. That was pretty sweet. And then so when I got back up here, I decided I was just looking to see how much a trampoline park would be. And then one thing led to another. I called every trampoline park company, probably everyone. I'm not going to list their name. But the only one that called me back was Altitude.
Okay.
It wasn't a great voicemail that I left.
Okay.
It's actually really funny. I'm at the dealership and I'm about to leave this message and someone starts talking to me about a car thing. So I'm like distracted talking to the people at work. And then I come back and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is Keven. I'm really that's why I leave this message. And like 10 minutes later, Dre Carter was actually the one that called me back. And then that was the funniest voicemail I've ever got. And I've probably been in conversation with him turned about 45 minutes and we just hit it off. And then the rest is history. We ended up buying the franchise.
That is awesome. So I guess the first question I have for you is what gave you the confidence to believe, because obviously you were succeeding in car sales. What gave you the confidence to believe that you can now make that jump and become an entrepreneur?
I think that you can do anything that you put your mind to. I think I'm a bit overconfident in that. I think that if you really work hard for something and you really believe that you can do it, then you can. It's going to be yours. It already is yours. You just have to speak it into existence. But you also have to work for it. And that's going to come to you. Nothing comes to you. My mom always says there's no such thing as can't. So I always grew up with that. I tell my kids, like, I probably won't ever be a gymnastics level, like, Olympian for flipping. I can do a cartwheel.
Yeah.
So therefore I can flip. So that's just that's how I live my life, man. I don't think that there's nothing that you can't do if you put your mind to it. And then you have to have a good support system as well.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that support system. Being in car sales, now being an entrepreneur. What was that support system like for you? Who supported you as you were pursuing these opportunities?
Before I was selling cars, I was selling campers. And I'm from the inner city of Milwaukee. We didn't have campers.
Yeah.
We didn't camp. I'm not
Right.
So I didn't know what campers were, didn't know anything about them. And Dave Corpy, who was general manager of Hilltop, actually refined my sales skills and told me, like, it doesn't matter if you've been in an experienced camper or not. People are buying fun, and they're buying from people that they trust and respect. And that was just it. I was just authentically myself. But selling cars, Tim Dawson, Jerry Quasick are the sales manager, and Tom Payment. Tom's one of my really good friends, but they always believed in me. I was always a slow starter. And this is a true story. We didn't get paid until the 5th or 7th of the month. I didn't start working until we got paid. Well, I'm not going to start working the next month and you haven't paid me.
Yeah.
And so they trust that I would always hit my numbers. Did a little bit of work, started to plant the seed, but
Yeah.
I haven't received my compensation from last month, and now you want me to work for free? No. So those three guys, like, really gave me the space to be me and do what I do. I'm a little bit different than most people. So I really respect those guys a kid that, a 10-year-old that is in everything, track, basketball, gymnastics, soccer, choir concerts, whatever the case may be. They always allow me to go to leave and come back.
Yeah.
I have to pick her up in daycare if she's sick. So I really appreciate them for that. But I also earned that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I made them a lot of money, and
Yeah.
I was always respectful and showed up on time and did my job, had fun while I was doing it.
Absolutely. Let's dig into that a little bit, because you just hit a couple of things that the benefits of sales, the flexibility in schedule and the flexibility in hours and different things. I want to get your thoughts on, first, what do you think is the benefit of being able to sell? And I would also like to dig into what drove you to sales in the first place.
I think we are always selling, but the benefit of sales was the fact that you can be someone new every single day. You're already your core self. I call myself a chameleon because I can be whoever I need to be in front of, whoever I need to be in front of. And it teaches you how to relate to people that you have nothing in common. But it's so funny that how easy it is to find something in common with someone just by having a conversation. No prejudging, no barriers up, no dislike. People are coming in because you have something that they want, right? Now it's just going to be a matter of who's going to BS who to get what they want, right? I'm trying to sell you a car or whatever the case may be. You're trying not to buy whatever it is at the price that I'm trying to sell it.
Yeah.
But in the end, you make friends. And that's like, in the 7.5, 8 years that I did it, I made a lot of friends because I was always just genuinely, I actually do care about people's story. I like to talk. My minor was communication.
Okay.
I love interpersonal communication, and I just like watching people, and not people.
Right.
I like to just watch and figure out what people are thinking just by watching their actions. But yeah.
So I got a couple of more questions. The question I have for you is, because it's a conversation that I've heard people talk about, like some people are born sales, some people are, and you mentioned communications as part of your degree. Do you feel like your college experience prepared you to be good at sales? Do you feel like it's just something that was naturally in your personality? Do you think that anybody could do that 100% commission type sales situation?
I think anybody can do it if you set out to just say, this is what I'm going to do, and then you work at it. I think that anybody can do it. It's not easy, but it is easy at the same time, because the product kind of sells itself. If someone comes in for a Toyota RAV4, and we had Toyota, Honda, and Nissan, so
Yeah.
I could flip you to any of the other brands, but if you have your heart set on the RAV4, and I have 15 RAV4s, if you don't leave with a RAV4 and you go buy a Subaru or something else, I did something wrong. So the product sells itself, and people know what they want. It's just building up that relationship. I don't even work at Riverside anymore, and I still have people text me all the time, hey, my door is looking for a vehicle. Who do I talk to? or hey, or I see him out in public. So it's always just building the relationship, really. And I think that came naturally. I've always been I was the class clown.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I've always been goofy, as my family would call it.
yeah.
And outgoing, and I like to sing and dance. So we would have concerts for holidays. I don't know who started it, but I'm more talented than the rest of my family.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll see.
So you was out there moonwalking.
Oh, you already know it. I could talk to you about Michael Jackson for 3 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, no. So has always just been a part of me, like performing and being in front of crowds. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I feel more comfortable in front of hundreds of people or a handful of people than I do one-on-one. So yeah, that was always just who I was. But really, the core of me, like, should be left alone. I used to ask my stepmom when my sisters would come over, like, how long do I have to stay up? I don't know if you know that story.
So you're an extroverted introvert.
Yeah, pretty much.
You love to be around people, and then it's like, let me.
Let me a couple of days to recharge.
So let me ask you this. Is that a common personality trait amongst the people that were in the car dealership? I guess what I'm trying to figure out is that a prerequisite for being able to be a good salesman?
Oh yeah, you have to. I think that, you're cold calling people, and not really cold calling their previous customers, but they don't know you, especially when you first start. But you can't pick up the phone and have a conversation with someone. You know, when they tell you no, being told no is like, I guess I'm just so used to it now that it's like, no now just means not right now. But when I first started, someone would tell me no, and I'm like, no, better get off the phone.
Yeah.
But they just want you to continue. You didn't give them enough information yet. So I think that's the biggest challenge for people that are starting new in the car business. When you hear no, but big on the phone is nothing. I sold vacuum cleaners. Like, people were telling me no in their kitchen. You know what I mean? And so it's like,
Let's dig into that a little bit. So you were doing, this is a big deal. So you were doing door to door.
yeah.
So you delved into a lot of different 100% commission type jobs.
Yeah.
What was it like doing a door to door, and how did that prepare you and get you ready for selling cars?
Oh, trust me, selling cars is a lot easier.
Heck yeah.
But no, Filter Queen, we worked at Michigan Ecosystems. I worked at Michigan Ecosystems. We sold Filter Queen, and we had regiers that would call people and set up appointments, and then, so we were supposed to be able to just get in the door easily.
Yeah.
But you show up in the middle of Ironwood when you're black. Man, we got the police calling us so many times.
Man.
But again, it's just being true to yourself, being who you are, respectful, and showing them that, hey, this is a product that you actually need. We did the whole show, the whole 90-minute show.
Yeah.
Throw dirt on their carpet, use their vacuum to get it, and then use ours. And ours is always better. And then when you're sitting down at the table, you're trying to sell someone a $3,000 vacuum cleaner system. It ain't cheap. And getting them to say yes. I was on the road for about 8 months, and then I got promoted to office manager.
Wow.
And then, we hit every territory. We were every.
Yeah.
And for a 20-year-old kid, you're making pretty good money.
Absolutely.
2021. And so, yeah, no, but and selling vacuum, man, that was a fun time. But I don't know, I probably would do it again. If I had to, I would do it.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it definitely sets you up for selling cars. But it's also, there are people that were super aggressive, didn't tell anything. But you got to have that happy medium.
Yeah.
And it's like, when someone says no at their kitchen table, it's how many more no's can I get before they're going to try to hard me?
Yeah.
So you say 7 no's before you get your first yet. And the car business, kitchen table after no number 3 is let me pack up.
Yeah.
But then you pack up slowly, and they're like trying to talk to you about it. It's like, oh, I still got them.
Yeah.
But it was still fun.
You mentioned making pretty good money at 20 years old. I did a little bit of research, and according to Glassdoor, the average car salesman earns about $78,000 a year. Does this number sound accurate to you? And from what you saw, the people you were working with, what you were able to accomplish, is that in the ballpark?
That's probably an average. Up here, we do a lot better.
So basically what you're saying is, if you're good at car sales, you can earn pretty good money.
Yeah, in the 90s, these guys are making over 100,000, and then paying structures have changed a bit, but now we do well.
You do well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I just wanted to mention that if you're thinking about car sales, to know that if you get good, it can be something that's pretty lucrative. I guess the next question I have for you is, You mentioned, and we brushed over this a little bit, but the success you had in car sales. You were employee of the month, had the highest gross car sales. How did you do that, and what was that process like? Tell me about that.
I love negotiating, so it's like, but you want to do it honestly. You don't want to. I'm not trying to rip anyone with head off or anything like that. But
Right.
at the end of the day, it's a for-profit business. So if we're negotiating, and if I come to you first pencil and you accept it, I'm not going to scoff at it.
Yeah.
But also, COVID helped a lot
Really?
with it too. COVID helped. Before COVID, I made like 85. After COVID, I was in over 100,000.
And was that because like people were home and now they were just shopping more? Or?
No, it was because manufacturers took away, because they didn't have as many cars, so they took away rebate. So when you rebate, I mean, when you're already discounting the car, so that's stagely going out to the crow.
Yeah.
So when you only have 3 cars to choose from, there's no discount. So it made it, COVID was like a good and bad. From 16 to 20, we did well. We all made good money. But then 20 after, like, you lose skills when you are just, well, this is the price, this is the only car I got, I'll buy it someone else.
So, okay.
But before that, like, you had to work.
Yeah.
Like, you had to really demo the car. You had to really do trial closes while you're driving. We're driving the car. And it's one of those, oh, just accelerate up here. Now you can see how that would be useful, Tony. And then, oh, yeah. So then you just don't say anything else. And then it's one of those things like the backup camera, see how clear that screen is so you can see that'd be really useful to see what's behind you in case your grandkids are over. Oh, yeah, that's good. And then when you pull in the lot, it's one of those, why don't you just park over here in the soda section? You can get someone to park in the soda section. You're good. And then before you even go inside, Tony, is there any other reason other than, say, color that you wouldn't purchase this car today? No, you have the right color. Now do it. So that's a trial close. But they already told you they'll buy it, right?
Yeah.
So when you present the numbers, it's one of those things where it's so out of these 3 options will work for the best. I got to think about it. Tony, I really don't like when my friends lie to me. Because outside, you told me I had the right color, you would buy the car. Oh, I did say that. And I want to think about it. That's what everyone says.
Yeah, yeah.
Go home and think about it.
Yeah.
No, you've done 8 to 10 hours of research before you got here. There's no more thing. We just want something. Now, what is it that you want?
Yeah.
I think that those are the things that if you do become a car salesman, watch YouTube videos on how to close. That's where it's at. All the other stuff is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about cars. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about engines.
Yeah.
I don't care about any of that. I know about the technology that's going to save your life because that's the most important stuff. I know that the cars that we sold are the safest cars in the world, Honda and Toyota, and Nissan working on it. But the closing, that's where I'm good.
Yeah.
And I do it respectfully.
Absolutely.
One of those things where it's, I got to go talk to my wife. What's her number?
Yeah.
People laughing. And
Absolutely.
And the best part about it is I don't have to be the bad guy. If I can't close you after tip number 4, I'm going to get my manager.
Yeah.
And then Jerry's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But Jerry's going to be production.
Yeah.
He produces, and that's why he's from Chicago.
Okay.
And he does it with a smile.
Absolutely.
But everything's done. It's fun. You try to, no one wants to buy a car. Unless it's like your first car or it's like your dream car.
Yeah.
I don't know something any dream car. No, some people bought some Priuses from.
You're right.
Priuses are nice though. But no, that's all it was, man. Just having a good time but taking the craft seriously because it's psychology. It's a thing that you're getting someone to do something they don't want to do. And I think that's like that was the fun part about it.
Mm-hmm.
That was it's playing football, man. It's competitive. You want to beat your other salespeople. And you want to obviously be the top dog. But I was also always a team player. I never wanted to make sure that we always have opportunity to eat more than others.
Yeah.
But I would never undercut somebody. And
right.
If I did and I didn't know it, I would always give them half of the deal.
Absolutely.
Because that's not right. And there's some people that's just in the business for themselves, and that's fine. But I don't feel like those people are as successful as people that are in it to help others as well.
Absolutely. So you're saying that to be successful in the car sales industry, you have to really be focused on helping others. And that's what
produce stuff your teammates. Top dog there, who always, even when I was there, was always the top dog, is Cesar. He's been there for 25 years.
Yeah.
I love Cesar to death. But he trained me, and he didn't have to do that. And every time someone called me, I'm looking for a car, let me get you over to Cesar. Because he does it the right way. And again, it's a huge book of business. But that's one of the things that, like, I will always help. He always said, we got to help each other. If we get busy, if I'm 3 customers deep, I can't take care of all 4. If I sell one and then I get half on the others, I sold 2 cars.
Exactly.
So it's, if you can't have that partnership, knowing that, and the trust that they're going to get the job done and treat the people the way that you would treat them, then you're going to, what are you going to sell, 7 cars a month when you could be selling 15? So you have to have the trust in your teammates, and so it's a lot like football.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you mentioned football a couple of times. Let's go back there. You're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You went to a very football-heavy high school there. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing with football and how that helped prepare you for where you are. And also tell me about the role in your upbringing that your grandfather played in your development as well.
Yeah, so I grew up inner city of Milwaukee, in the ghetto, as they call it, around a lot of drugs and addiction and all that stuff. So it was, for me, football was an escape. My mom actually taught me how to catch. But in our neighborhood on 26th Street, I have family members that are addicted to drugs. And that's the only thing.
Yeah.
You see some things that, and a lot of people can relate to this, you see some things that as a child you shouldn't see. So I always knew that I was a bit different, though, because I listened to Michael Jackson. I wasn't listening to Tupac or anything like that. Like I would get VHS, and my mom would buy me VHS of the Michael Jackson videos. And I taught myself how to dance. I was always different than pretty much everyone that I grew up with. So football for me was like, that was my ticket. And I was shielded a lot from going down that path of doing drugs and selling drugs and just being out there in the streets like that. But one of my first best friend was Romy. He lived at the end of the block, but he sheltered me from all that stuff. He made sure that I didn't do any of that stuff. And he taught me how to run routes, how to like control my body. Yeah. And we would play in the streets in their city. Yeah. And he would always be like, your legs are moving real fast, but you're not doing anything. But I was always open. Yeah. And so I really do thank Romy for that. And then when I was 11, I moved with my dad and my stepmom and to the suburb. Before then, if it wasn't for my older sister, because like I said, I had mom addicted to drugs and alcohol, and my dad as well. But my sister really, I don't know how she did it, because my dad has 9 kids, so I have 7 sisters. I have 3 brothers, but my mom has 3. So it's me and my sister Tracy, my sister Martine. We lived downstairs, and then upstairs was my Aunt Pat and my cousin Ebony, who's also like my sister. I call her my little big sister because she's tiny. Yeah. But my grandparents owned the house that we lived in. Okay. So like I said, if it wasn't for Tracy, her real name's Keandra, but we all call her Tracy. Yeah. If it wasn't for her, I don't know how we would have made it through. Because not only does she like watch us and shoot like our mom, but she also was able to graduate high school, and then now she's a professor, but she has her master's degree. Wow! So she's like the real actual person. She was like my first role model, and she's one of my business partners too. Okay, and we talk every day. Yeah, and so without her getting me to where I moved with my dad and my stepmom, I don't know where I would have gone and roaming as well. So then I moved with Amy's my stepmom, and I call her my guardian angel because she's done more for me than probably any human has. And my dad was a great athlete. He still thinks he is. But my dad was tough with me growing up. We would run hills, and the amount of trash talk that would happen, I tell the story to people, and they're like, man, I'm like, that's what I needed, though. I needed someone to tell me that I wasn't great. And because when you were playing football, the amount of trash talk that happened, that could kill you. Absolutely. Like, if you drop the ball in the game and have a corner or a linebacker thing, bro, you ain't it. Yeah. That could, like, if you're weak-minded, that could really destroy you. Yeah. But your dad got you ready with all that. And people used to try to talk trash to me. I'm like, I don't have to go eat with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, right. Whatever you say is going to mean nothing. Yeah. So my dad, like, got me mentally tough. And I'm actually more driven when someone doubts me. And he's telling me I can't do something. That's when you messed up, because I'm going to prove you wrong every single time. Absolutely. I'm just going to outwork you. And I might not be as athletic as you are or whatever the case may be, but I will outwork you to get where I need to get. Absolutely. So I do credit my dad for that. Other areas, he was very hard. Very hard.
Yeah.
But my granddad, man, he is the smartest person that I know, and he had a ninth grade education.
Wow.
He was born and raised in Mississippi. He was a sharecropper. So for those that don't know, my granddad picked cotton.
I read that too.
And so my granddad has brothers and sisters that his dad left when he was 5. So he had to work in the fields because he was the oldest boy.
Yeah.
And he used to say, he always said, I was the fastest sharecropper. And I always thought to myself, like, how did you know? Like, they post stats.
Yeah.
You went in the barn and get a ton. Yeah. No, but then my granddad got into machinery, and he was a programmer by trade. He owned a machine business. But my granddad's such a hustler. He wouldn't. So if he was working at a place and someone was making more money than he would learn their job. He would stay after, learn their job. And then he would pump their head up. Man, you should be doing the next job. they would tell him, like, man, I need a raise. And my granddad was like, yeah,
Yeah.
And he did. And he had that.
Yeah.
And my granddad's also one of my business partners.
Yeah.
Without him, we wouldn't even be doing this. But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, he is the smartest person I know. He's sharp. He's funny. He's also my best friend. We talk a lot. And I'm jealous because I live up here. Everyone else is in Milwaukee, so they're within 10 minutes away from them.
Yeah.
They get all the stories all the time, but every time I go home and my grandma makes us lunch or dinner, and I just get to listen to those stories and just really shoot the shit with them. And
Yeah.
he talks so much trash.
Right. I love it.
He's 81 years
Oh yeah. It's nothing funnier than an old person.
No,
Because they just tell it like it is.
really do. And then my grandparents have been married for 40 years, and they'll hear them bicker back and forth. And they're arguing, they're saying the same thing. Because they've been together so long, it wasn't that everything is just the same thing, but it's, someone's right or someone's wrong.
Yeah.
But my grandma, everyone's always your favorite food, anything my grandpa made.
Right. Absolutely.
So she has 5 kids. That's one thing about my granddad, though. He told her, like, you'll never have to pay a bill in your life. Just, only thing she'd ever bought in her life was groceries.
Yeah.
Everything else he paid for.
Yeah.
And he had to take care of his family, his sister, the brothers for a while. So he would paint houses on top of working at the machine shop. And he always used to say he was a supervisor. And okay.
Yeah.
But like they always had nice cars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we grew up poor, but we didn't, because we had my grandparents, like we had everything that we needed necessarily, not everything that we wanted. But that also taught me a lot too. It was like, you need to value hard work and the dollar and all that stuff. So man, I wouldn't be where I am without people in my life.
That community. Yeah. So we're Milwaukee. Your grandfather is a huge influential person in your life. Your stepmom, your sister. You go to high school.
Yeah.
And you decide that you want to play football. Had you always played football all your life? Or
Yeah, no, I started playing youth football in 5th grade, and I was taller than everybody else, so I was better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I started playing in 5th grade, and I played tight end.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why they had me on defense. I hate hitting people.
Yeah.
I hate getting hit too.
All right.
But we had 41 pop pass, so it was like a little play action, and I was always open because I was faster than everybody. But so I broke my thumb at scrimmage in 8th grade, and I got it stuck in the helmet. Boom, stuff going up.
Yeah.
And I come to the sideline. I'll never forget Coach Tom, and I'll never forget this. I go, I think I broke my thumb. He goes, well, can you catch? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I scored 3 touchdowns.
Would have broken thumb.
Yeah.
And he was in 8th grade.
It was a scrimmage, too. So then I remember, this is when I, like, the first time someone doubted me. And I always think about this all the time, but when I'd go to the doctor, I waited 3 days because I thought it was just jammed. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance, as my stepmom would say.
Yeah. That's
So finally, I tried to practice and just couldn't do anything. So Amy said, we got to go to the doctor. And so we go, and the doctor, that was broke. You're going to have surgery, so your season's done. And I'm a 12-year-old kid, 13-year-old kids, I'm crying.
Yeah.
We get in the car, and I go, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to make it back for the season. And so I had to do rehab after the surgery, and I came back with 4 games left.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was like the first time I was like, out for the season. Like, I had a goal. Like, physical therapy, weird. I was trying to push them.
Yeah.
And I came back, 4 games left, and dominated a little bit.
Yeah.
But then high school was, like I said, football was my escape. Like that was like for me to leave, just be able to focus on something that I was really good at. And I love to do it. So high school was good until it was still good after this, but I had a kid at 15. When you are a 15-year-old, and this is when I say about support system.
Yeah.
So my parents said, we'll help you take care of you. You got to put yourself through college. But my dad and my mom had my older sister when they were 15. So I was just following in their footsteps. But I still got to do everything that I wanted to do and play sports. And I was in choir and track, still was able to be a kid. The only difference is I had a kid as well.
Yeah.
But that also drove me to, I went to a white school.
Right.
Not many black kids.
Yeah.
A couple of Asians.
Yeah.
I was already better than their kids.
Yeah.
So there's already people talking.
Absolutely.
And then to have a kid
Right.
at 15, to hear how adults.
Yeah, let's dig into that. What was that like? Like, first of all, what was that like having to tell your parents, tell your grandpa, tell your older sister, like, what was that like? And then after you told them, how did you still get your grades, how did you do all of that?
So tell them I didn't know until she was born.
Okay.
So we all found out together.
Okay.
But
surprise.
Yeah. My mom cried tears of joy.
Okay.
She said she always wanted a grandbaby. My dad, she's here now, there's nothing we can do but take care of her. My stepmom took it the hardest. And my sister Tracy. They both had the same reaction. Amy, I remember Amy sitting on the back step drinking a beer and crying because she thought, how are we going to do this? I was coming back home from playing basketball at a basketball tournament, summer league, and I was going to go Summerfest that night with my friends.
Yeah.
And my parents too. But my stepmom was sitting at the kitchen table and she's crying. My dad said, who died? And she goes, Trinova had a baby. She said, it by you. And I just looked at her. I was like, I'm going to go up, take a shower, and take a nap. And in the shower, I remember thinking like, man, life could be over right now. But I just took a nap. And then we got up, we went to Target, and then we went to go see Janaya, my daughter's thing. And I remember looking at her, and I'm like, she looked like me. But then I saw her hands, and I got real big hands.
Yeah.
She had real big hands as a baby, and I'm like, oh yeah. It's probably mine. You just had to grow up, and you got to do it. And like I said, people talked around. My friends didn't care.
Yeah.
They knew who I was as a person. There were rumors, because I didn't really talk. You're 15, I didn't really talk about my Janaya all that much. Unless it was with my friends.
Yeah.
But the parents would talk. And I guess it didn't really affect me because they were talking anyway.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things that you just go about your day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I never really care what anyone says of me, especially if you don't know me. So you don't like me for whatever the case may be, but I'll still treat you the same. Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't care. I've always had that mentality, like people can say what they want. Sticks and stones can break your bone, but words will never hurt me. It's childish to think that way, but that's just what it is.
Yeah.
I'm living my life the way that I want to, and if you're not paying my bills, feed me, then.
So to go back to you saying that people doubting you gives you a boost of energy, did people doubt you? Oh, he's having a kid.
Oh, yeah.
He'll never go to college. His life is over.
Yeah, I heard it. All he ever sees his daughter. He can take care of her. Things of that nature. So my junior year, finally, I had her a jersey made with 86 and then her name on the back, and she came to a game. And then I think they figured, okay, my stepmom came to every single thing that I've ever been in. Amy never missed anything.
Yeah.
And so I was already a black kid playing in a white school. My stepmom's white. I always wanted to dominate for her.
Yeah.
So that way she felt a sense of pride in standing.
Absolutely.
That's my son out there killing you guys.
Absolutely.
And then I did it just to shut people up too. It's like, you can do, if you have belief in yourself and the sense of pride and find motivation, I'll be find motivation, but you can do anything.
Absolutely.
And like my parents said, well, if you take care of her. And I didn't have a backup plan. Football was my plan. So I didn't have a backup plan. You just have to work hard. You have to do it.
Absolutely. Let's dig into that. You said football was your plan. You didn't have a backup plan. I share a very similar story. I didn't really have a backup plan. It was sports or nothing else. Looking back on it now, why do you think that football was your plan and there was no backup plan for you? Now as a successful salesperson, successful entrepreneur, knowing that there's a plethora of ways to succeed. Why was it when you were this 15-year-old kid, you thought it has to be football or nothing else?
That's all I really knew, man. I would go out in the yard, play catch by myself, throw, and then try to catch the ball. And so that was like, I watched football even then differently because we were watching film. And now friends get mad at me when I watch football with them because it's like, when
you can't turn it off.
Oh yeah, you can't turn it off. But the quarterback throw the pick, and they're like, "Oh, that's a dumb throw," and you're like, "No, really, it wasn't.
Yeah,
it's the right read, just didn't happen."
Yeah,
and so that was just, man, I always had a ball in my head, and I always do that. So I used to, my parents would buy me footballs, and then I would play with kids, and if they figured out who I was, or I would sign the ball. So Amy was buying me footballs. Man, I used to give away so much stuff.
She's like, where all the footballs at? I don't have to give them.
I have to give them one and give an autograph. And I always do to this day. I keep shorts, and I used to keep clean shorts and my football gloves in my car. Now I keep shorts and shoes in my car.
Yeah.
Anybody challenge me?
You ready?
I'm ready in case you can find me a play right now. So that was like, I don't know. I didn't have, like I said, I didn't have a backup plan, but I just knew that I was going to make it, that I was going to at least play at the next level. And then from there, who knows? But I knew that I was going to go to college and do that. Now, as 35-year-old looking back, selling cars, I don't know if I would have like dove into the sales world, but I would. Knowing what I know now and how much money you can make in the car business, I would have. I don't even know if I would have played football in college. Because it was back then in 2005, 2006, these guys were making 150, 200.
Right.
The internet wasn't so popular.
Yeah.
And people couldn't go on the internet and see what other people were charging or if they're getting a good deal.
Yeah.
There was no Carvana or anything like that. So these guys are making tons of money. So I think if I were to do it over again, maybe I probably would have just went to sales.
Yeah. Let's dig back into that as well. You getting ready to go to NMU. Obviously, you must have had a successful high school career because you were presented the opportunity to play in college. What was it like? First of all, how did you decide NMU was the university you wanted to go to? What was that transition like going from Milwaukee to coming to Marquette, the MP?
I came to Northern because my high school quarterback, Ben Hempel, was here.
Okay.
And we broke state record together. So I came.
Same year? You guys were the same year?
I was a year older.
Okay.
Yeah. So I came here, he was already here. And it's always nice to know someone.
Absolutely.
And that can show you, and me and Ben were good friends, and we got chemistry, so that was good.
Yeah.
And then coming to Marquette, I didn't know what I was, I'm from a big city, man, so man, they didn't have anything. Now Marquette's grown.
Yeah.
I got here in 2007, January of 07, man, it was like eye-opening. And like I said, like, I have white friends, my stepmom's white family, my Lexi's half white, but I've experienced back then, not so much anymore, but like we were at Shopko, and I was in just typical college stuff, sweats and a sweatshirt. There's a lady that was shopping, and she leaves her cart with her purse, and she was shopping, and I walked down the aisle or walked past it 4 times, she was in there. And when I walked in, she went to her cart, grabbed her purse. And I remember thinking to myself, like, first of all, what's still for you here?
I think I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I know. But like, up at you, I'm like, there was a bunch of people that were walking by. So that was like my first, not like, up here, that was my first like instinct with racism. And I'm sure it didn't probably, I don't know. I try to justify it for her.
Yeah.
Just like, maybe she didn't mean it that way.
Right.
The way that I took it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and it was different. It was a different time. People aren't as open-minded as people think they are. So it's like I said, so back, like, I got the cops calling me so many times.
Wow. So wait a minute, while you're out on your sales calls, people see you and they don't think, oh, that's the sales guy. They think he's coming to rob.
Yeah, and belong to this neighborhood. And you just tell the cop, sure, here's my badge. I'm just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to see this lady or this couple, and they let me in, they do. If not, we'll leave.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that happened 6 or 7 times.
Wow.
And it probably was still happening, but now as you see everything is recorded.
Yeah.
I would recommend doing door-to-door sales now because the world's so much more dangerous than it was back then, and you're not getting the benefit of the doubt anymore. So, especially when you look like me or you, if you're in the wrong neighborhood. But
so let me ask you, so let's back up here. Your time at NMU, did you experience those kind of things like in and around campus? Or were this just when you went
just when you're out.
Yeah.
Campus was always, professors were great, coach and staff, players, teammates.
Do you feel like you had an advantage because you were an athlete?
Yes, absolutely.
So you feel like maybe non-athletes had a different experience than you?
Possibly, yeah. I think because when you're playing on a college team, like, you are somebody. People know who you are. They might not know exactly, but they know that you're on the football team.
Yeah.
So I think it gives professors and administrative people, they have a little bit more control over you. And then they can just, if you do something out of line,
Yeah.
they're reporting back to the coach. So the rest of the school body, they don't have that with. I don't know how many professors are calling your parents. So it was like they had a parent here to keep you in line. So that works as plus and a negative if you're into doing like negatively, if you're in like doing bad stuff. But if you're just trying to go about your day and living life not far under the radar,
Yeah.
then it's nice. It's good to know. And I think professors, they want you to succeed. So I have great relationships with my professors. I was always the kiss ass though. I was raised by mostly, like I said, 7 sisters.
Yeah.
4 aunts, 2 moms.
Yeah.
So I'm good with your.
Right.
I know. I
Absolutely.
understand them better.
Absolutely.
So I was always, if I had a woman teacher, oh yeah, I'll get.
Yeah, you're like, you know how to communicate with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, even I didn't see any racism in campus.
Yeah.
Around campus.
Absolutely. So let's talk about academics. What did you study? What did you major in? What did you minor in? I don't know.
Justice was my major. Minor was communication.
Absolutely. So how do you feel like?
good at school. That's not good. That's not good. This twist.
Hey, but no, that's important to talk about though, because people need to know that there's a lot of different routes
Yeah.
to success, and you don't necessarily have to be, hey, I was a C student at best in college and grad school. And let's talk about that. You said you weren't the best student.
No, I was.
How did you make it work? How did you get through besides being charismatic with your female professors and tutors?
I had female tutors and
Yeah.
a professor.
Yeah.
I went to school for the social aspect.
Yeah.
Like Amy would tell you, my sisters would tell you, my mom would tell you. Janiyah is a 3.8, 3.9 student. She didn't go to school to be an anesthesiologist.
Wow.
Where she gets it from, I have no idea. She is so smart. But
Yeah.
Lexi is too, my 10-year-old.
Yeah.
They're so smart. And like, I'm not, book-wise, I lose interest. I got through it because I had to.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
I see to get degrees, you know what I mean?
See, I used to say that. Listen, we are not telling you not to study hard. We're not saying don't get A's and B's, young people. Get your good grade.
Yeah.
However, there are many ways. If you're a C student, there's hope. Actually, Robert Kiyosaki says in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, that C students start companies and they hire A students to run them. So,
Absolutely. Look at the most famous people in the world. And Mark Cuban didn't graduate from college.
see?
So
Yeah,
there's many different paths that you can take
absolutely.
to get where you want to be. Especially now, man. Like, you can be an entrepreneur 18 to high school.
Absolutely.
Not just especially now, but it's more common now that guys are starting companies or women are starting companies or whoever. So it's so many different paths that you can take.
Absolutely. And so as we wrap up, I got a few more key questions. One of the big things I wanted to talk to you about was the transition, right? Because how old were you? Were dead set on football? What did you say? Like middle school?
Yeah, I was like, probably like 8.
So basically from 8 to 22,
Yeah.
football. What was it like? Because I know it was rocky for me, making that transition from being a football player until now not necessarily changing my identity, but looking at myself differently.
Yeah.
I always judged myself on what I could do athletically, what I could do physically. And that's how everybody saw me. They put me in this box. So that's Tony, the football player. How were you able to make that transition from Keven, the football player, to Keven, the salesperson, Keven, entrepreneur? And tell me about that journey and some of the obstacles you had to overcome from being a student athlete to now going out to the business world.
Oh, that's exactly what everybody saw. That's how I saw myself too. Is what would I do without football? Who am I without it? And that's what I've always identified for. That's why I get up and go work out and all this, because I had a purpose to do it. So when I stopped playing, the first year was tough, man. You still do the same. You go up, you get to the gym and all that stuff, but there's no structure anymore. You know, so I I was working at the Ramada in town, the Holiday Inn, and the YMCA. I had to make some money or I was going to have to move back to Milwaukee.
Right.
But then I was 23 and Lexi was born, 2013. And I was selling, I just got done selling vacuums. I stopped selling vacuums because she was coming and I didn't want to be on the road that much.
Yeah.
And I was selling campers. And I didn't know, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I liked to sell stuff. And I was making good money doing it. So then I just put all that energy that I put football into sales because I felt that it was competition. Like I was trying to get something from you.
Absolutely.
And you hold all the keys because if you say no, leave. And
Yeah.
so it was like I was trying to score every time someone said in front of me.
Absolutely.
So that's how I.
Yeah, see, I personally believe that athletes have an advantage when it comes to sales, when it comes to business, because we've been so conditioned to have a score.
Yeah.
But so many people, they live their life, there's no score. We're always judged. How fast are you?
Yeah.
How much weight can you lift?
Yeah.
How much do you weigh? Did you lose weight? Did you gain weight? Like numbers, we're always being scrutinized by the numbers. And so you throw us in a sales organization when we got to start becoming an entrepreneur, I think that we definitely have some kind of competitive advantage. Tell me about your experience of playing football and being a part of a team and what you learned being a part of a team and how that was able to transition over to something like car sales or even when you became a manager. It seems as though you've gotten into management fairly quickly in your sales position. Do you feel like football and your football experience played a role in that?
Yeah, just being a leader. Like when you were 15 years old, 16 years old, and your head coach comes to you and say, hey, you are the leader of this group or the leader of this team, you got to take that seriously. That's a serious role. I always took that seriously. It's because now if you say I'm the leader of the team, then everyone's a representation of me. So if we lost a game, it wasn't, I was using hypotheticals, but it wasn't Sabres lost the game. It was something that Hagans didn't do. You know what I mean? That's how it is. And that more a little bit. So I always tried to emulate that with all my teammates. And like, sometimes I wasn't the best teammate. I was hard on my team. I used to tell guys, you can't catch the ball, just throw it to me. That's the competitive nature of it though. I demand the best from myself.
Absolutely.
There's no one harder on me than me.
Absolutely.
There's been many times when I've dropped the ball and it's, man, you are here. But I know that I'm going to make the next play. But that's not how I psych myself up though. Now, I don't recommend anyone to do that because it's probably not good for your mental health.
But it works for you.
But for me, it worked.
Yeah.
So that's how I always live my life, even going into business. And I think one thing about doing anything, like, and you're told no, or you're not good at it. If someone says no, you don't qualify, or you're not good enough, or whatever the case may be, never let that deter you. Especially opening businesses. I mean, hearing no from a bank when you know that you qualify, you check off every single box, and they still say no.
Yeah.
I think that was like the first time we heard no. If I wasn't an athlete and didn't have structure, or didn't go through ups and downs in games, dropping a ball, I've never dropped a ball in a game, but being experienced in that or fumbling or whatever the case may be, hearing no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I would have quit.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the perks of being an athlete and selling cars, because you're so used to hearing no, especially selling cars. And then they're buying a car.
Right.
So like when banks have told us no, it's just, okay.
Like I'm used to this.
Yeah. It's
Been here
like,
before.
so what else do you need?
Yeah.
And then, and you know how banks are. They need more. They need more. They need more. And it's never good enough because one thing that I think that entrepreneurs, especially African Americans, run into is that we don't get the benefit of the doubt as our counterparts in other races.
You mean as far as lending is concerned?
I think that is the hardest thing that we have to overcome.
Absolutely.
And this is why I think that one thing that we need to do as people is to get into the banking industry to help our own.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things that I've learned doing this whole opening businesses is that it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard if we are just starting out or start up or whatever the case may be, but it's worth it. And when someone tells you no, doesn't mean that you quit. That's what they want you to do. They want you to give up. But like I said, I don't know what quitting is. And another thing that I've always lived by is if you try something and it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean you didn't fail. It just didn't work out. To not try something, that's failure.
Absolutely.
To be stuck in fear. And I tell my kids this. Don't ever be stuck in fear. Everything's scary. The world is a scary place, right?
Yeah.
But if you come across something and you're so scared, you're always going to be in that spot.
Absolutely.
And you're missing out on a completely whole other side. of something that could be potentially great. So that would be my biggest advice. Don't be stuck in fear. And if you hear no, do not give up.
Wow. That was actually, just to wrap up, I was going to ask you, if you had to leave some parting advice for somebody who wanted to become a successful car salesman, wanted to start be an entrepreneur or open up their own business, just to wrap up, what would you say to them if they were sitting down with you and say, hey man, I wanna be one of the top car salesmen like you. I want to maybe go and open up my own company like you. What advice would you have for them?
Two books. Clarity first, so you have a clear vision of what you want. And then I just finished Project 369, actually yesterday, and about manifestation and just getting one with your inner self. You have to love yourself and believe in yourself. And I'm not talking like I believe that I'm going to make a layup or whatever the case. Yeah, and you have to really believe in yourself because this is hard. Yeah, like and everyone's against you. People want to see you succeed. They want to see you open the business, but the people that have the power, they are against you.
Yeah.
And it's just another opponent.
Absolutely.
That you have to overcome. That's just how I look at it, but it's one of those things like you have to believe in yourself and you have to know that it's already yours.
Absolutely.
It's not, I'm going to get it. I already have it. Mine. It's just about to happen, and I'm taking the steps for it to come into the outer world, they call it, but the inner world, it's already mine.
Absolutely.
Inside myself. So that's one of the things that you have to have. You have to have self-love, self-confidence, and you just can't quit. And if one door closes, just open another.
Absolutely.
There's so many opportunities out here, and there's so much money to be made. Absolutely. That would be my advice.
Man, Keven, thank you so much, brother, for sharing your time. I'm excited for people to be able to see this information and to be inspired by you. Quick question. If somebody wants to follow your footsteps or a young person who wanted to get some information from you, what would be a good way for them to get in contact with you?
You can call or text me or email me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Reach out to us. We'll get you this email. And also, too, what's the name of the business you got?
Altitude Trampoline Park. Altitude Trampoline Park, Marquette. It'll be located in the Westwood Mall. And then we're also in the process of buying a new business as well that's already established. So
got a business and he got another business. Yeah. This guy's doing a thing. If you're in Marquette, come check out Altitude Trampoline Park. Thank you for your time, Keven. Appreciate you, brother.
No problem.